Hi, my name's Mahadeva Ishaya,
Oh, hello. My name's Govinda Ishaya.
and we are monks of the Bright Path Ishayas, and we will be teaching a class in Edinburgh on the 6th to the 8th of February 2026. So if you're interested in learning to meditate, then that's the purpose of this short video. We're going to talk about our own experience, how we came to meditation, what our experience has been using the Ishaya's meditation techniques, and also giving you a little bit of a flavour of what you can expect if you came along and joined us on the weekend. Just a little caveat just to say you may be seeing this video after that class has been completed. So continue watching because you may find some interesting things anyway. And I'll update the links below the video so that you can go and see if there are any classes in your area, that have happened since we recorded this video and since we finished this class. So hopefully the content is evergreen. So, given that, let's start with you then. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what it was that brought you to the Ishayas Ascension meditation?
Oh, right. Thanks, Mahadeva. My background, I was brought up thinking that a bright mind could solve everything, and then life got in the way, and I suddenly found myself in a position where there was a lot of stress and a lot of stuff that I didn't know how to deal with. Um, Miracles happen, and I was introduced to this meditation technique, and I thought, well, it's worth giving it a try. I couldn't work out what was happening myself, and I went on what we're about to teach in February, a first sphere course, and I left that course thinking, I hope it's true. I hope it works because what I learnt on that course blew my mind away. In that, I'd always been interested in the well, I studied chemistry, and I always thought there was something in the minutiae unseen was where truth lay. And after the course, I thought, gosh, I've got an insight into this, and uh, I hope it doesn't disappoint me because I was at that point in my life, I was fed up of being disappointed.
And how did it all work out then?
Oh, how did it all work out? It worked out jolly well, I have to say. The everything I learned, even though it sounded fantastical at the time, proved to be true.
Hmm.
My teachers said things, and it's been consistent throughout my. I learned in 2003, and since from then to now, everything that I've been told by people who are ahead of me in this, if there is such a thing, that sounded uh, almost strange, became my own experience just by simply doing what you learn on the first sphere, which is the name we use to describe what we're going to do in February. Yeah, there is something. The gift for me is because I have and probably still have curiosity to work things out with my mind. The gift to me is that you don't have to work things out. In fact, you can't work things out. The only way to do it is it's like you can't learn yoga you can't learn how to do yoga from a book. You've actually got to do the physical exercises to get the benefits and the suppleness and your body to change. Similarly, with meditation, all true meditations, not just this one, you have to follow the practice. And in following the practice, it unfolds in such a magical way that what you thought was only reachable by other people sitting in a cave is actually reachable by anybody. In fact, it's your birthright. It's everybody's birthright to peel back the onion and find the experience that is the gift of being born human.
Hmm.
That sounds a bit deep. I'm not by nature um, I have a lot of joy in my life, and by nature, I tend not to take things seriously. But there are some things that resonate and are serious for me, and what I learned on my first sphere 22 years ago has stayed with me and grown. It's I cannot I cannot recommend it strongly enough. If
Yeah.
you're curious, do it. 'Cause
Mhm.
the downside of missing the opportunity is worth the risk of being wrong. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
if
cool.
that makes sense.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, for me, I learned a few years before you. I learned in the late 1980s, sorry, late 1990s, uh,
You're not that
and
old, man.
and yeah, I suppose for me, what I was looking for was a couple of things. I was looking for. I wanted something that would help me deal with stress. At the time, I was in a very stressful job, and just the usual things. You know, we all go through life, work, relationships, finances, all the usual things. And I needed something that would be almost like a kind of magic bullet that would allow me just to be where I was. You know, I would go to work sometimes, and I would be in work. I'd be thinking about stuff at home. I would I would be home. I'd be thinking about stuff at work. I'd seen that I was never where my body actually was. So I was looking for something to help with stress. But I think more importantly for me, there was a deeper hunger, and that was I had begun to kind of explore uh, more kind of like things around like yoga and deeper questions, like what was the point of my life? I knew somehow that there was magic to be had living a human life, and I felt that I wasn't really kind of touching that. I wasn't really embracing that. I was very judgmental in myself. I would say I was probably self-violent. I suffered a lot of depression at times as well. So I had the motivation to kind of to find something, and a friend told me about meditation, and I tried the meditation practice. I got benefit from it, and then although it was quite hard to do, and then someone else told me about the Ishayas. There was Ishaya monks in Scotland at that time. They were doing a class, and ultimately I ended up learning the techniques that are taught. And from that very first weekend, then I knew this is it. This is exactly what I've been looking for. Uh, a couple of things that really grabbed me. One, there was no obviously all meditation comes from a kind of spiritual background. They've all got their spiritual roots, but there was nothing I had to believe to do the practice. It was purely about my experience. And I suppose the main things I got from doing it were, one was contentment. I was a very kind of restless within myself, always judging myself, never quite happy with how life was, even though it probably looked from the outside that a lot of how my life was good. But there was like a restlessness within that. So contentment is a big thing that I got and still have in my life. More love as well. I had, through, like many of us, I put a lot of barriers up between me and other people, and a lot of barriers between myself and deeper parts of me as well, I think. Uh, and so by doing the practice, not by me having to do anything, almost the barriers just began to dissolve on their own. Uh, and I noticed I was much more compassionate with myself, much more forgiving of myself. And that kind of began to go on the outside as well, where I allowed people to be closer to me and me to get closer to them as well. I was less defensive and just more open and more happy, to be honest. And I suppose another thing, it's probably a big, long, endless list, but was a final thing would be to have a sense of purpose as well, to kind of have a sense that where I was at any point in time was exactly where I needed to be. Sometimes previously I'd felt uh, kind of out of time, out of place, and that sense just kind of dissolved. Not by me having to do something; it just all kind of went away as I would just felt more in the moment and more content and more present in the moment as well. And ultimately, that sense of purpose led me to becoming a monk, to actually committing my life to sharing this teaching and this practice, to kind of allow other people to begin to experience that as well, to have the choice to experience, you know, waking up, awakening to the reality that, you know, that of our true nature, which is awareness, which is love. So I love that about the practice, the simplicity of it. You know, there's no positions we need to take. It's just a simple thing we do in our mind, and it has a huge impact.
Yeah, you don't have to forcefully adopt any beliefs. You don't have to memorize anything. You don't have to learn anything. You don't have to eat special foods. You don't. In fact, it's almost a realization that the more gentle you are with yourself and the easier you make it, the easier it becomes. It's a win-win. You to live. You learn. I learned to live within my skin and feel at home within my skin, and then there are also sort of with benefits that the whole spiritual side of things. What for me? What phrases that were in the spiritual material books, for example, well, it's like the Bible and things like they always left me flat. I really never understood what they were saying. And not saying that Bright Path Ishaya meditation is anything is associated with any religion. It's not. It's not. It's not a belief-based practice. It is. It's if you do it, it works. If you don't do it, it doesn't work. But the the words of wisdom quoted by sages of the past were not just things. Well, what does that mean? It's like, yeah, I get it. I get it. It's truth is timeless, and the right path meditation is a timeless teaching in that it doesn't age, and it shows the truth of ages. The truth of ages glows within the practice. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, cool. So I'm just going to share a little bit about what's actually happens on the weekend, what the nature of the class. So as Govinda said, it's called a first sphere. And what we teach 4 techniques, and they are based around what we call the kind of like upward emotions. So praise, for example, gratitude, love. And the techniques are very simple to use. As Govinda mentioned, there's no belief required. We just kind of come together and we practice. And the weekend itself is a kind of an interesting kind of balance, because there's a lot of time spent actually practically, you know, using the techniques, and then we share, you know, our experience, how it was, making sure we're using them just as simply and easily as they're intended to use. And then we talk a little bit about the context of using them, the effects, you know, that we can expect from having them, and how to keep the practice simple as well. So it's a really simple, straightforward weekend. It's a very enjoyable weekend as well. One of the things as well is that we talk about the weekend. It's not just a weekend. You know, you when you enroll on the class, really you're kind of, you have the opportunity just to go as far and as deep as you want with this. You can repeat the class again as often as you want, free of charge, anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're away somewhere, if you know other languages, you can go there. If you know English speaker, America, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, wherever, UK, then you can Ireland. You can go and you know, repeat the class anywhere you want. Also, you become part of a community. Again, if you want, there are online events where we are led by teachers. We have kind of like meetings, and there's like a whole series of things that we do to basically to help you as much as possible in pursuit of whatever it is that you're wanting, whether that be less stress, you know, more happiness, you know, kind of spiritual growth, whatever it is your motivation is, you know, we all have a different reason for looking for something. We all have a different reason for coming to meditation. So, you know, there's a community there to join if you wish as well. As I say, it's just that kind of one-time charge for the initial weekend, and then that opens you up to the whole thing. So if you're free, we would love to welcome you to Edinburgh on the 6th to the 8th of February 2026. If you're seeing this after that date and you're still interested, then come to the website, which is thebrightpath.com, thebrightpath.com. And there you can find details of classes. There's lots of interesting articles. You can check out our YouTube channel. There's loads of material there as well to get you inspired. And at any point, if you want, you have any questions, then of course you can contact and ask any questions as well, and we would be delighted to answer. Govinda, anything you want to share before we close this recording?
Just one thing. It's not a solemn sitting in a circle humming type weekend. It's very easy, laid back. We chat, you chat. It's easy. It really is. There's no have to do this, have to look that way, have to eat this. Be yourself, and the process is becoming more and more of yourself. And whether you're here to get less stress, or you want to know the meaning of life, it does everything. But the weekend is easy and fun.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Okay, so if you watched this, I hope you enjoyed it. If you made it this far, thank you very much, and perhaps we will see you on this class or some other time. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Indeed.